Hello, hello. Welcome to today's podcast episode. Yes, I was having some awareness today that popped up, but it's been popping up, so it's not like it's a brand new awareness or aha, or what I like to call them is Tiffany's epiphanies. And something that I have realized today after posting on social media and then looking at social media, I noticed a theme lately. I noticed that all of a sudden I have been seeing groups or posts that talk about adoption and foster care. And then I've noticed a theme. So I can pick up patterns really quickly right away. And I seemingly have been able to do that my whole life. I just didn't realize it until now in my adulthood. And I also learn by patterns. I can pick up patterns like with the stock market. And also, I used to play the piano. So to me, the stocks chart is more like a piano masterpiece. And so as I keep seeing these posts about foster care and adoption, and then I'm sharing my story but in a more powerful manner. The podcast I talked about yesterday is my story, parts of my story interwoven, and in that is the identity that has had a huge play in how I show up to the world and how, when I speak my voice, yes, do people listen? Yes. But there are people that my whole life have been misusing, mishearing, misrepresenting, we'll use that word, honor for my voice for the most part. And I realize that I have been performing my way to be heard, be understood, be honored, be, respected. And yet my whole life it started as I was not. I was not listened to. There were social workers that would not listen to a word I would say. They were too busy focused on getting the money because I was exploited for a paycheck. And they left us in homes that were abusive and detrimental. Did they listen? No. Did they care? No. It took them a long time to get their asses together and figure out, well, this isn't a safe place for these kids. Well, duh. Hello, we've been telling you that. Where have you been? But our voices, my voice, got silenced, it got muffled, it got lost in the sea of other voices and caseloads. So I was talking with my friend, and then I was like, I gotta go. This is a podcast. And so here I am doing a podcast today. I was brainstorming out loud with my AI agents and this morning, and I realized something. I am in a season where I am not able to perform like I once was able to energetically wise. I was diagnosed with a few things: Epstein-Barr virus, mono, and about 3 or 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with a mitral valve prolapse. So those aren't like, um, scary diagnoses. They are a diagnosis. Doesn't mean my life is over, and it doesn't mean that I'm at a loss. It means that I am now in a place in my life where I have to pivot how I've been doing things, where my energy is, I have to protect it at all costs, like Fort Knox. That means I cannot. I cannot entertain certain conversations because my body immediately feels the energy. I cannot entertain hanging out with certain people or in certain environments because my body immediately feels the energy and then I feel wiped out. I also have to be very careful of the conversations. And I also have to learn that rest doesn't mean scrolling social media when my body is resting on the couch or when I don't go to the gym. And it's also relearning how to honor myself in this season. I spent most of my life performing and going and proving that my body just it collapsed. And I've had to relearn how to honor my body all over again, but in a different way this time. That includes who I allow, and now I understand it. Like I'm snapping my fingers. It's like, wow, mind blowing statement. What I'm about to say might ruffle some feathers now. If you are a coach, if you're a mentor, if you are a leader, if you are a boss, if you are a person who's in charge, I'm going to say something that might trigger you, ruffle some feathers. So put your hand on your heart because this is going to activate you in some way, shape, or form. It is your responsibility to listen, to honor, to respect, to value what someone is bringing in your direction. It is not your responsibility to give feedback. It is not your responsibility to give something in your point of view without really taking into consideration what the person is saying. In my experience, when I have gone to say certain things to people my entire life, including very recently, it has seemingly gotten ignored, traipsed over. I have been told I'm doing things that I'm not. I've been told I'm saying things that I'm not. That also happened in foster care my whole life. And so then I was, the when I was starting to say the things I really wanted to do in creating, a life for myself, there are people that I have given access to that have seemingly talked me out of the very things that I want to do with my life, my dreams, my visions, the things that energize me, the things that light me up. I even feel like a 10-year-old girl right now as I'm talking to you. Why? Because I know you're listening. And I know I'm not the only one that deals with this inner uproar of chaos that causes us to abandon ourselves when we're not heard or we're not taken, what we're saying isn't taken into consideration. Now, here's the downside to that too. I've done the same things to previous clients and it was unaware. I've had to learn how to listen. It was a skill, right, that I've learned. My entire life though, I was proving that I could do the very things that I said that I wanted to do. But I had to prove myself in such a way that I burnt myself out. And I caused myself to um, grow exhausted and weary. Unaware, I didn't realize that trauma and what I've done as a high performer by burning myself out, I didn't realize that pushing and proving and performing would cost me a part of my life that I've had to relearn how to gain back. I've had to relearn all over again boundaries. By the way, boundaries are a beautiful thing. Nobody's going to chase you. You're not going to get eaten by dragons. You're not going to be struck down with lightning. People might not like you, and it's very uncomfortable, but a boundary sets the tone on how much access people have to you. Access is a privilege, it's not a right, regardless if you're paying somebody. And I'm going to speak some hard truth today because it is an awareness. It is a revelation that I had. And when I have them, I'm like, gotta go talk to my amazing people. Why? Because somebody that's listening is going to get this. They're going to start implementing boundaries for the first time. And it's going to feel a little foreign, weird, strange, and all that, inner angst that comes along with that. But you are going to be happier and you're going to thank yourself. Most people thank the mentors and the coaches for getting them to where they're at, but in all honesty, I think it's amazing to honor who's leading you, right? Bosses, anyone. But also, you got to do that for yourself. Because if you're not celebrating yourself, if you're not taking into consideration how much hard work you've done, the people that are leading you are not responsible. It's not really like they're not responsible for your results. You are. People look to leaders to lead them. Now, when leaders aren't leading them, they tend to walk around in a blind stupor. When it's like sheep, right? So when people are not getting led, it's like sheep running around with no guidelines. So today in my epiphany, I realized something. Everything that I have gone to go do in my life, in some way, shape, or fashion, has been met with me seemingly being talked out of what I want to do, the thing I really want to do. And I've noticed this, and I didn't really notice that those are red flags. I also didn't notice that that was causing me to put myself into a box, several boxes. That was also causing me to have several what I call costume changes. And also, I have paid the high price. I've paid the cost of self-abandonment. I've paid the price. I've paid the cost of knowing my true identity and who I am. I've paid the price. And it's not a price that I would want anyone else to pay. So I'm sharing this with you today because this isn't just me that's going through this stuff. I see it all over social media. I see it in how leaders are showing up. I see it in how bosses and coaches and mentors and business owners, and it's not a bad thing. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not trash talking anybody. It's just when you see this stuff, you can't unsee it. And so now here I am figuring out where my life is going. I was doing that this morning with my AI, figuring out, okay, Tiffany, you're in a pivot right now. You've turned yourself into a position, which, by the way, I used my AI agent to create the best resume I have ever created in my life. Then I have this program called Career Reclamation Blueprint that's sitting in my Google Docs that I created. I reverse engineered a program that I saw called Job Domination, and I realized that there's several factors and components missing from that program. For example, when people go to get in an interview, they're not paying attention to the red flags that's spoken in the interview, so there's keywords. By the way, do you know what those keywords are? Do you know how to set boundaries for yourself before, during, and after an interview, after you get the job? This is where a lot of people lose themselves. They burn out performing for the job, saying yes to everything. They want to move up the ladder, so they try to prove that they can do it. They'll say things that make them look great, but then behind the scenes, they're not able to keep up. So then it's like, well, we got to be careful what's said. Do we know what our energy level is like before, during, and after an interview? Do we know how to do a resume? Is your resume updated or is it still the same from 1985? By the way, are you still using the same uh, one-liners that we think we still have to use from 2010? You know, are you still putting your address on your resume? By the way, no boss cares that you live in Kentucky, right? No boss cares what your address is. I don't even know why we were required to put that on there. But anyway, so I have a program, but it's the program, it gets people to stay close to themselves, to remember who they are so they don't abandon themselves while in the job process and after they get the job. So I reverse engineered it because what I did is I put to use so I learned the other program, I used it, I got results. But then I realized there's several components missing. That other program taught me to perform and prove and people please. That program taught me how not to set boundaries. It didn't teach me how to set boundaries in my job. It didn't teach me how to protect and preserve my energy. It didn't teach me that saying no to more was actually a good thing. It didn't teach me how to take care of myself, how to make sure I was getting the right sleep and staying hydrated and nutrition and getting some sunshine. Yes. And then it also didn't teach me that just because a job has all these amazing tasks, right, doesn't mean you're going to be happy there or the all the perks that people go after. No, 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 no. Like who cares about a 401k? What matters is how is your health going to be? What's the stress level? Is the atmosphere fun? Is the environment fun? Is it friendly? And then what happens when I make a mistake? How do I get treated? You know, all the things. And then, by the way, and so anyway, I could go on about the career reclamation. That's what it is. You are reclaiming yourself. That's the outcome. You walk away happier. You walk away more empowered, more grounded. You have the knowledge of, oh, I don't want to lose myself anymore in these jobs. So you stop searching. And in fact, people who are already in a career, it's not for people who are just starting out. So anyway, so I have this program. I'm really excited about it. And it's just sitting in my Google Docs and I haven't done anything with it. Why? Because every time I go to do something that I want to do, I seemingly get talked out of it and I get told, do it this way. So then I do it. I lose myself. I abandon myself. And slowly but surely, every part of myself has been stripped away down to the 13-year-old girl who's holding a box, standing in front of a foster home, waiting to be accepted. Is this good enough? Is my stuff okay? It's in a box, or it's only in 3 boxes and a trash bag. Is this good enough? Will I still be chosen if my hair is out of place? By the way, do you want to know what I used to do to my hair? I have almost pulled out my hair and I got so pissed off at my hair because I'm biracial. I didn't know I was biracial up until the age of 13. 13 years old when I moved to my first all-black foster home. I didn't know I was biracial because I was placed in an all-white almost adoptive home for the first 10 years of my life. No one ever taught me about my hair. They just cut it off really short. No one ever taught me about my heritage. I had no idea what biracial is. And so I have stuff sitting in Google Docs waiting to be put out to the world, but it feels like those are the wrong clothes. I've created amazing things. I've coached clients. I've rewritten resumes. By the way, 6 clients that I have helped with the resumes and the coaching and the confidence coaching behind it. 100% track record. I'm proud of that. I didn't have to prove myself. I did some of that for free, by the way. I wasn't charging. But then after I learned, oh, shoot, I better start charging, so I did. But then something in me decided I got triggered and I stopped. Why? Because I, from a successful businessman, kept coming in my direction and he kept disrespecting my boundaries. My energy felt it. He didn't have boundaries, but of course I didn't have boundaries because at the time I didn't know how business worked. I didn't know that I could have boundaries. Now I have boundaries. Honey, I ain't doing no resume writing for free. Could I do that? Yeah. Does that light me up? I mean, not really. What lights me up is the identity, the coaching, getting someone in my space so I can speak and use my voice. That's what lights me up. So my podcast, sure, it's for free at the moment, right? But I love it. I love getting on the microphone and sharing. So the stories that I'm sharing with you today, this epiphany, it all is what other people are other also going through. So the things that I have sitting in my Google Docs, the things that I have abandoned myself in, and all the parts of myself that have been stripped away, I have been fragmenting myself into thousands of pieces my whole life. Up until recently, I decided I'm done. So I started walking away from certain things that I had to walk away from because I was losing myself. It felt like I was dying 1,000 deaths inside. Very recently, I'm like, wait, something is off. I was losing hope. My light was leaving. My energy, my when we have a physical ailment or health decline, we've got to reverse engineer what we're doing in our lives. Nobody's going to tell you, nobody's going to do that for you. And doctors, not every doctor out there is for you to help you. They'll try to give you every medication that can add to the problem or every supplement under the sun. Well, nothing fixes anything. What about sleep? What about our nutrition? Are we staying hydrated? What are we doing to sustain ourselves so we don't burn out, even in a health diagnosis? Right? And then we turn to insurance, and insurance, well, we burn ourselves out with that too. That's a whole nother conversation. So I was burning myself out within the last 6 months, building my podcast to over 1,000. It's over 1,000 people. I don't even know the number because my new platform, I can't see the stats. I like seeing the stats because it tells me, Tiffany, your voice matters. Because I survived foster care my whole life, from before I was 1 up until after I graduated high school. My voice was ignored. My birth parents decided that alcohol was their choice. So I was ignored as an infant for the most part. They would pass out on the couch. I had a target on my back that I'm not supposed to be here. By the way, the statistics of foster care say that I'm supposed to be dead, suicidal, depressed, addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, homeless, psychologically impaired. Oh, yeah. The statistics, the odds. The odds. I don't even know the exact odds, but not every foster care child, not every foster kid out there makes it or is supposed to. Oh, go on to college? Oh, get married, have kids, have a thriving freaking podcast, have a social media where you're known as the Facebook girl in your community. Oh, in a marathon when people run by, they run by you, or in stores. Oh, hey, you're the girl on Facebook, and they thank you for using your voice. And for a girl who thought my voice was trash to show up and use it to speak, and it's like, man. So I was sitting with my AI community today. And yes, you can speak to them and tell them to act as a therapist and in between therapy appointments and stuff. And, don't take, they're AI, they're not humans, okay? But I'm a verbal processor, so it really helps me. Don't take everything they say with like matter of fact, right? Because sometimes it's a little creepy what AI can do, but it's not the enemy. It's actually beneficial. So I was doing that, and then it dawned on me that I was like, all I really want to do is use my microphone. I want to speak. I want to use my voice. I want to create a community where people come, and it's, the community that I will be creating. It's for people that are serious and want to move ahead, want to move forward. It's people that are not needing to be coddled or pushed or um, or forced or given forced momentum, right? Motivated. Like, I'm not here to motivate people in a short time. It's a long time. The people that are serious and want the transformation, those are the ones that hear this and say, "Okay, what you got? Where is it? Where do I sign up? Here's my card," right? And I'm not monetizing my gift. I'm not, what's it called? I'm not pimping myself out. The very things that I have been speaking on my whole life is the very things that God has me to lead other people through things. And so sitting here today, I realize that the closer the proximity that I give people, I have to be very careful with who I allow to speak into my life. As a kid, I did not have a choice. I was forced to listen to the people that had the proximity, and 90% of them failed in my life. My voice was lost in a sea of other kids, thousands, a sea, muffled, ignored, squelched, squashed, hindered. So I spent all of my life proving my identity, proving I was worth something, proving myself so much so that it's like, oh, but if I, okay, so I can just perform and then you'll listen, right? So I did. I performed. People listened only when I would perform. But then when I stopped performing, they didn't like it. So I had to perform for safety. I realized something, and then I'm going to close with this, and I want to say thank you for sticking with me to the end. What I'm about to share with you is going to move you. It's going to transform your life, and you're going to realize who you have around you matters, because today you don't have any more time to waste playing the part that no longer fits you. You no longer have a choice. You do have a choice, but you can no longer sit and allow people to speak into your life that are leading you down a path that you don't even want to go on. Who you have around you matters. Who you pay to speak into your life absolutely freaking matters. Your dream, your destiny, the inner strength that you get on your way to your destiny matters. Who you allow to speak into your life can either send you on the path to your destiny that you are meant to go on, or they can deter you. It's what's it called when you have to go other ways because like construction or mudslides? Detours, right? Warning, don't go this way, you will fall off the road. Or warning, you'll get stuck in the mud. Warning, right? Constant detours. Now, I look at what I have created in my life, And it keeps coming back to this one thing, and I've ran from it. I don't know why I've run from it, but I can only tell you is that seemingly I have been talked out of what it is I truly want to do. But here I am to tell you that I don't have to play the part. You don't have to play the part anymore. You don't have to put on the wrong clothes that don't fit. You don't have to put on the masks to show up in any area of your life or in any environment. We all want acceptance. We all want to be loved. We want to be valued. We want to be cherished. And most of us have been taught to perform for that and just do what people tell you to do. And you want to know, I have done what people have told me to do because that's what I learned growing up. Do what you're told or else you pay the price. Abuse. Let me tell you, I've had to learn how to integrate that. It has not been easy. I would get beaten for not doing what I was told the exact way I was told. Yeah. So I had a more detrimental experience, but growing up, I didn't know that I had the power to say, no, I don't want to do that. But now I do. I don't want to do all that extra pimping myself out stuff just to have a business. Like I look at that. I've been performing for 15 years trying to build a business. And I say trying because I've done every other thing than what I've really truly wanted to do. And I didn't really know what that was because I had all these voices telling me what I should be doing. And today I got my power back. Today I got my voice. I mean, my voice is back, but I got my voice back. And today I am handing you back your power. Because no longer is it beneficial for you to pay the price, to abandon yourself just to look amazing out there or just to have a paycheck. And sure, there's a lot of things out there that we could follow, but following the masses can keep us on the wrong detour. And before we know it and pay attention and realize we've been on the wrong path, we will end up in a farmland somewhere. We have no idea where we are. And then it'll take some time to get the map to get us back to where we are really meant to be going. And I'm telling you this because I've done it. I've been there. I want to say thank you for choosing yourself today by listening to this. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you. Thank you for choosing yourself. Thank you for putting yourself first. And now celebrate yourself for choosing you. And that concludes today's episode.